First of all I'm going to say is thank you to everybody for your comments and taking the time just to drop a comment or even like the channel or subscribe. Really does mean a lot. And I know I say it every week, but to be totally honest, it really blows my mind away that people are watching and can understand my accent, should I say, watching from all over the world. We've got people from Perth, Australia, Norman, I think it is. Hello, Norman. Alan Churchill. Alan, he also sent some put a nice comment as well. So it really does help us, sort of spurs along, gives us some encouragement really to carry on with doing this. And do you like how I got their names straight away?
Yeah, that's the professional auto cue you've got.
Yeah, my memory is absolutely shocking. So yeah, that's why I've got to write everything down everywhere. Today, enough waffling. Today, what we're going to do today, we're going to start with, we'll take the body off. We're going to, first of all, look at the radiator. So this is the aircon radiator. It's new aircon radiator, because the old one's absolutely useless. This is the radiator pack for the SLK, and as you can see, it's a huge thing. That sat up front, we haven't got the space for it in here because obviously we've got a shallower area to work with. So what we're going to do is we take off this fan and we're going to split everything apart. We're going to get it back as close as we can to the radiator, to the engine, should I say, and then make some mounts up. We've also still got some of the tube left that the CDS tube that we use for the roll cage, that we're going to put in and make a cross beam at the front as well, so it makes it a lot safer. Another thing we've been talking about is the bonnet. We've got the bonnet structure. The bonnet comes in two pieces, same as the doors and the boot. So this is what you call the strengthener.
Yeah, strengthener. And
that sits in there. Now, because we've dropped the body as low as we can get it, we've got a few issues. So it is still touching in places, so we've cut away this wall a little bit. That's all right, we could use this. The only issue that we do have is that because it is quite, I don't know if you can get it there on the camera, you see how quite thick it is? So that actually drops below here. Now it's all right here, but then when you get to the top where the firewall is and the dashboard and everything, the issue that we've got is when the water is going to come off, we need to obviously get the water away. This is the drain where all the water should be taken away. So you've got drain holes at the sides and at the front. And also as well, we've got a very expensive original vent. Careful. That needs to be cut into there. We also need to, obviously when the water goes in there, that's got to get away. So we've got to build something that's going to make this area look nice and neat. We don't just want to throw something in. What we've come up with, we think, as a solution, rather than using the bonnet skin strengthener, we're going to use 3mm steel, roll it so it fits the contour of the body, of the bonnet, and then glue it to the bonnet, and then that gives us something also as well to mount the hinges to, and it'll make it a lot more sturdier. And then this is redundant. So what we're thinking of doing is cutting the top section off here. That then will slide underneath, he says, should have done this earlier, slide underneath like so, and then we'll trim this up so it flows into this. That is what we're thinking. Obviously make a box as well that flows into that as well, so that gets the water away. Does that sound good?
Sounds like a plan.
I'm just running you through a few things that are running through my head at the moment. So we might not get onto the bonnet thing, we might not get onto some of these things. Maybe the whole day is just taken up by just doing the radiator, we don't know. One thing that we need to look at is the hinges for the doors. A good friend of mine, Ray, he's got a gullwing, and he's very kindly sent us some templates of the hinges for the centre support that hinges bolter. Thank you very much for that, Ray, and thanks for watching. So we're going to maybe look at that as well. Again, maybe not today. Another thing that we've got to look at is the boot or the trunk.
Trunk for you Americans.
For you Americans, hello if you're watching in America. We're thinking, again, these are just thoughts that are running through my head, cutting the chassis legs off level, nice and neat with the wheel arches, and then bringing the boot floor level with the support. Taking this section out, so we've got a nice big boot, and it's all one piece, it's all nice and flat, rather than coming and stepping it and leaving this in, or coming from there and stepping down, because then we're just wasting space. We've got the space, we might as well use it. In the back here, obviously on a gullwing in the back, we have suitcases. So there's a big suitcase and a little suitcase. We're going to make those up, but they will be false. Should we tell them what we're going to do in the back? Or should we leave that for another video?
I'd leave that for another video.
Leave that for another video. We'll keep you teased on that one. We found the original Radiator bottom bracket that we kept off the SLK. That we cut off earlier. I think that we did that in about video 3 or something like that.
Yeah.
So that sits in there. It's sat right far forward. What we're going to do is we're going to bring it as far back as we can. We're going to cut off this front section here. That'll drop it a little bit further down. And then we've also as well kept the original top slam panel as well with the bonnet catching. And again, that has got the mounting points for the radiator as well. So hopefully we're going to get that in there like so. Obviously get rid of all this crap and everything. Or we might just use this as a template. And then the radiator.
So that.
That will go in like so. Obviously it needs to go down a little bit. We'll get it as close as we can to the engine like that, and then aircon rad. That's nice and easy, that'll go there. And then we've got loads of space here for the bonnet to go down, and some radiator fans at the back here. And we'll just paint them black anyway, so you won't be able to see them once the grill goes on, so that'll be okay. So we just need to get this bracket cut and get it down. We're in a bit of a dilemma at the moment. Again, one step forward, 2 steps back. We don't know how to mount the bonnet. Normally on the gullwings, the bonnet actually drops down into this section here and then pivots up at this point. However, we have seen it where the bonnet actually just comes up and supports from there. So we've got some bonnet hinges. They will go that way, won't they? So that would mount probably somewhere around about there, and then the bonnet comes off there. We'd have to make some brackets for it. Another way, what we thought, try to keep it original as we can, is that we have some steel tubing. We cut that so it goes into this cross member here, comes across, we weld a bracket on so it picks up the aircon radiator and the normal radiator, and we can bolt into that. And then what we use is this as the mounting point for the bonnet as well. So we make, on the bonnet, we do another tube that goes over the top that's mounted to the bonnet, and then the bonnet will rotate on there. Obviously they'll have to be boltable, so that we wrap around there and put a bolt into it.
Might be able to get some hydraulic pipe clamps.
Yeah.
Like nylon. Split clamps.
That'll be better. And then we can, then the bonnet will actually put a nylon clamp at the back on the bonnet, and it rotates the bonnet, and then it will go underneath here, just like the originals. I think that's a better idea. So cut this pipe straight, weld it onto the top of those, onto the strengtheners. That gives us a good fixing as well for these, and a bit more core support for the front. Yeah? Right, we'll do it that way. One step forward, 3 steps back. That's what it seems to have been today. We were going to be doing loads of other stuff that I told you about earlier on. Most of that's gone out the window because we've done the radiator, or we're doing the radiator, an aircon radiator. We've moved the strengthener, the original strengthener, we've trimmed that down a bit, we've put that in, we just weld it in with tech screws at the moment to get it right, and then we're going to weld it in back into place. Obviously it's moved further back. The radiator, if I get it, the radiator actually just drops down there now and will sit, there we go, in place. And what we've done, obviously the aircon radiator is going to go on here. We needed to make a bracket for the all to be held together, and we've made a dual bracket, as it were. So this is a strengthener that goes, well, it's a tube that goes between the 2 strengtheners. You see, shake test again, nice and strong.
Only tacked on that though?
Yeah, and what we've got is these, let's say, pipe clamps, PVC pipe clamps, and we're going to make some brackets, so they will be moved to there. We're going to make brackets that will come off over here, go onto the radiator and support the radiator. It's low enough down so it clears the bonnet, and then what happens as well is these will be the bonnet hinges. Rather than going for an aftermarket hinge, which we were going to use, which would bring the bonnet up that way and across, we've actually wanted to keep it, try to keep it original. So now, if we just do a demonstrator, let's say this was the bonnet, it would now drop straight in like that, like the originals, and then straight up. I don't know. So I'll show you, quickly show you with the bonnet skin on. So that's with the bonnet skin on. As you can see, it's a nice fit, and I don't know, do you want me to get that? Right, let's have a look underneath. Get a torch on. You can see that is actually just touching the bonnet at the moment, and we can put some shims on it. We can, let's say, where the holes are at the top, we can elongate the holes to make it fit nice and easy. But yeah, pretty damn happy with that. So what will happen then, like I say, is now, let's see if
you got it. Yeah.
So the bonnet, once it lifts now, will lift like the original one. That's a good fit, I can't even get my fingers underneath it. So the bonnet, when it goes this time now, will go forward like that. And then come back on itself. So it'll work just like the original one, which is what we want really. So rather than making loads and loads of different brackets, one to hold the bonnet and one to hold the radiator and so on and so forth, we just made one bracket. So we've just made one tube with the clamps already on. Makes it a lot simpler, a lot neater. So now we're just going to weld it all in place, and then we'll put a strengthening bar as well along the front. And fingers crossed, that should be finished. Let's hope so, because it's took us a while to do this, hasn't it?
We've been thinking again. We're not good at thinking.
No, not good at thinking whatsoever. Okay, let's get it all tidied up and welded in.
Right then, so I'm just going to do some finish welding around these, finish all these off. And then we've got a strengthening bar to put through here. And I think that's most at front end done then.
Hello, sir.
Mr. Riley, what's carrying over in your corner today?
I've got my very expensive vent. I'm just going to be cutting the hole out. Well, I've cut the hole out, so I'm going to finesse it. I'm going to wear my mask, obviously, because of glass fibre. So I'm going to cut this out so that the vent drops in. Once it drops in, then we're going to form a glass fibre shelf underneath, like a drip tray for the water. And then I'll cut the top of the bonnet frame out, and I'll put that in as well and marry them up, and hopefully it'll look nice and neat. And then we'll put the body back on once Alex is finished and see how that looks. Well, I've been messing about with fiberglass. Alex has welded all the front end up, so we've got the support for the radiators, as you can see, nice and solid. That will also, as we said earlier on, that will also act as the bonnet mount. Yep, so bonnet mount will go on there. As you see, it's tied into the side there. We've also put some gussets in the side there into the side of the wing. Plated the front cross members up and put, again, that's the CDS tube. So that's all the way across there. We're just got to get a new power steering pipe and reroute that. Bottom of the radiator is all welded on, so good day really on that. Wasn't meant to be just that. Meant to be just the radiator, wasn't it? But then snowballed into other things. The body's on. All the fabrication work's been done on the front now, which I showed you Alex did earlier on. We've put the bonnet on just to see how it fits. Nice tight gap all the way around. Fits lovely. We've got to put the 3mm steel on. Might put that on next week, just to bond it on and put the hinges on maybe next week. See how that works. Vents in the centre. We've put the drip tray and everything with fiberglass that. And yeah, I'm happy with today with how everything's gone. We have been messing about, because it's now 10 to 7. We have been messing about for the last half an hour, just playing about with something. Suspension wise, so massive thanks to Jim at Novax for lending us some things to help us out. And we're just going to leave you with a little teaser to just show you the where we want to be going with this. So we'll leave it at that. All we're going to say is thanks very much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you like what you're seeing. Give us a thumbs up, drop us a comment. So it's goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.
Oh, you're not going to say goodbye properly?
No.
Morning everyone, and welcome to a dry Wakefield for a change. Wakefield? I said
Wakefield?
I know.
Are you from Hull? Oh God, I've just offended Hull now.
Right, okay. We're going to have loads of shit. Right.
Right, stop crying.
Right.